song and since the start of the pandemic, really over a year now. Just about every other week, we've done a whole bunch of different kinds of events through the People's Music Network. People's Music Network is a membership organization. We have over 500 members around the world, and we use our music for peace and justice. We're a diverse community of performing artists, activists, and allies who use music and poetry and other art forms in the pursuit of a world of justice and peace. That's what we're about. We come out of a tradition that a multitude of traditions actually that have used music in that kind of political context to challenge the powerful, to challenge racism, to challenge economic injustice and ecological degradation. And we love music. We understand that there's a power in music, and we are working together with each other to develop the craft of using music as a tool for social change. That's what we believe in, is that when artists get together and share techniques, share songs, share their knowledge of different traditions, that we become a stronger movement, and it enriches our lives as well. So I just want to let folks know that we've been doing these in-person gatherings, like weekend long gatherings, for over 40 years. And since the pandemic, we've been doing these things online. We had a very successful winter convergence last January, and our tradition has been to do that weekend event twice a year, and we're going to keep that tradition strong. So this coming June 4th through 6th is going to be the next summer convergence. We're just getting the planning underway right now. So if folks have ideas, for workshops that they think would be really interesting, or formats that they'd like to try out in this virtual environment, whether that's with breakout rooms or whether it's trying out different technologies that people are using to get their music out there, skill sharing, song sharing, sharing traditions of music for social change, different genres, different political traditions, different cultural traditions. We're interested in highlighting those things at the People's Music Network Summer Convergence. So please reach out, if you'd like to contribute to that tradition. We've got an amazing group of performers for today's song swap, 19 in all. And I just want to go over a few basic things about how we're going to run today's event. So encourage you all to share the YouTube live stream if you are watching on YouTube, or to share the Facebook live stream as well. It's a great way to get the word out about the People's Music Network, and to get our music out there into the world. We kind of run this as like this collective performance thing, but it's a performance by the members of the network. Lyrics, I've got your lyrics for those of you who sent them in advance, and if you can give me a little advance warning, I might be able to get those up on the screen while you're performing if you want, but then your picture gets small, but then people can really see the lyrics, and that can be sort of a nice thing. We are here to support one another as artists. We are here to listen to one another. And one of the ways that we listen to each other and demonstrate that we're doing that is we take a moment before we perform to actually listen to and reflect back to the performer who came right before us. So that might be like verbal encouragement, but it's like more even than that. I mean, yes, we're encouraging each other, but we are listening to each other. And I think that's one of the most important ways that we encourage each other, is that we actually show that we were paying attention. Music is undervalued in our culture. Songwriting is undervalued. We're fighting against a torrent of corporate music, everywhere we look. And that's not the kind of music of the people that really enriches people's spirit. It's more about consumerism. And so here is a space that is a liberated space where we are actually listening to each other as a community. So that's one of the things we try to do in this circle of encouragement. We're trying to build some connections among ourselves, actually, as well as getting the music out into the world. So we encourage you to just make a comment, focus on the positive, but focus also on your experience of the piece, and focus on something that's brief. And then if you're interested in peer song critique, this wouldn't be so much the place for it, but we do have workshops called If I Had a Song, where you can actually get critique on your songs. That's kind of like looking at some of the things that could be better if we do it the next time. You know, that's actually like taking that critical lens and applying it to the craft of songwriting, and actually trying to challenge ourselves to step beyond what we're currently doing and actually improve our craft. Then also, you know, that's only one person you're going to be able to really speak to live during the event, but you can speak to as many people as you want to during the event through the chat. And we also encourage the sending of encouraging comments through the chat. Just a reminder that each person is asked to stick to a 5-minute limit. And I'll be doing a little bit of minor facilitation in between people. Maybe, you know, if you feel ready to, you've got the list here of the order. You might not always need me to remind you how this works. You can kind of just step in right on the person. So like Steve Siegelbaum is going to be first. I bet Michael and Nell have done this enough times that they don't even need me to spur them to step right in. So Michael and Nell, if you know when it's time to unmute, go right ahead and set a little pattern there. And you'll have a word for Steve Siegelbaum. But it is now my great honor to introduce the first performer we have for this People's Music Network Song and Poetry Swap, and that is Steve Siegelbaum. Steve, I want to invite you to come on stage, unmute yourself, tell us about your song, and share with us.
Okay, thank you, Ben. And actually, I couldn't think of a better introduction to this song than what you already gave. What you said about the purpose and mission of People's Music Network, because this is a song that I wrote, about 15 years ago. And the song is precisely about the power of music in support of social and political change, in support of justice and freedom. And I'm so proud also to add that a fellow that did have something to do with the creation of People's Music Network, a fellow named Pete Seeger, thought enough of this song that he joined me in singing it when singing a verse. When you hear the song, you'll hear the verse that he would have joined in on when I recorded the song with my group Walkabout. So it's called They Had a Song. And here it is. 1929, Union miners walked the line, living lives as bleak and black as the coal dust in their lungs. Up steps a miner's wife, boys, it's time to join the fight. Which side are you on? Was the song that was sung. They had a song to make their spirits rise. They had a song to help them organize. They had a song to keep their eyes upon the prize. It made them strong. They had a song. 1963, black folks marching to be free, beaten up and thrown into a Ku Klux Southern jail. Freedom singers gave them voice, said for us there is no choice. We shall overcome, we cannot fail. They had a song to make their spirits rise. They had a song to help them organize. They had a song to keep their eyes upon the prize. It made them strong. They had a song. 1965, Father Hudson's gentle tide strangled in the poisoned grip of corporation greed. Seeger dreamed of days gone by. We can't let this river die. With a banjo and a sloop, he sowed the seeds. They had a song to make their spirits rise. They had a song to help them organize. They had a song to keep their eyes upon the prize. It made them strong. They had a song. Now that this song's nearly done here in Century 21 doesn't mean we put away our banjos and guitars. Many struggles there will be. We'll be needing harmony. Stand up one and all and raise your voices to the stars. 'Cause we have a song to make our spirits rise. We have a song to help us organize. We have a song to keep our eyes upon the prize. It makes us strong. We have a song to make our spirits rise. We have a song to help us organize. We have a song to keep our eyes upon the prize. It makes us strong. We have a song. It makes us strong. We have a song.
Bravo, Steve
Hey,
Siegelbaum.
We like that.
Yeah, that was great. That was wonderful. Perfectly appropriate. It's the perfect song to kick off this whole thing, Steve.
Absolutely.
Really wonderful. And I like the way you went through the whole historical thing of, up through the years. Starting back, we do a show called the Joe Hill Show, so we're real familiar with that early period, and and unions used to sing. They don't do it anymore, but it used to be so much of the whole tradition. And I love the verse about Pete Seeger. I assume that's the one he sang, right?
Right.
So you recorded this, so this is available.
Yeah, through Walkabout's CD, which is called "We Have a Song."
We have a song. Well, I think I can remember that.
We were singing along by the chorus.
Oh yeah. Well,
There you go. That's the idea.
And it's always great to have a sing-along chorus.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to do
If it wasn't a sing along, it wouldn't be Pete Seeger, right?
right.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're going to do a song that I wrote, and interesting. We've played it. We haven't played it that many times. It's kind of a song that we haven't recorded yet or played out that much yet. And but we did it a few nights ago in a song swap. And it's funny you bring up Pete Seeger because somebody said to me, "That sounds like a Pete Seeger song."
Woody Guthrie.
A Woody Guthrie was like that sounds like a Woody Guthrie song, and I was like, well, okay, I'll take that compliment. My hero, Woody Guthrie, sure. So it's called "Find a Place for Me."
I took a bus to find a place on the other side of town. I can't believe how much they want for a one-room so run down. Whew. 2 months rent and deposit for security. But I ain't got that kind of dough. This ain't no place for me. So I caught a bus to the country club and I walked right through the door, looking for some kind of work, even sweeping up the floor. And there says, "You don't look like our kind of employee." I knew right then I had to go. This ain't no place for me. Gonna find a place for me, Lord, find a place for me. Somewhere safe and warm, that's where I wanna be. I won't lose my faith, 'cause I still believe somewhere in this world, gonna find a place for me. It was election day, so I went on down there thinking I would vote. Get me an American flag to stick right on my coat. But I don't drive, don't have a car, ain't got the right ID. So when it comes to the voting booth, this ain't no place for me. Gonna find a place for me, Lord, find a place for me. Somewhere safe and warm, that's where I wanna be. I won't lose my faith, 'cause I still believe somewhere in this world, gonna find a place for me. You know, a poor man stands a better chance than a rich man up above. I know St. Peter won't ask me for money or my ID, and then turn around and tell me this ain't no place for me. Gonna find a place for me, Lord, find a place for me. Somewhere safe and warm, that's where I wanna be. I won't lose my faith, 'cause I still believe somewhere in this world, gonna find a place for me. No, I won't lose my faith, 'cause I still believe somewhere in this world, gonna find a place for me.
Bravo, Michael and Nell.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
I want to make
friends.
a statement about this this show. You can't really see it very well, but this is from the University of Memphis, where we played one of our Joe Hill shows, and the head of the department liked us all. He gave us this T-shirt, and on the back you can't see it, but it says, "Study history, then make it."
I thought it was a nice message to give to history students.
Yeah, right.
That's
All right,
that.
thank you.
I like that, and actually, the studying of history is necessary to the making of it. So,
That's
There
right.
you go.
That's right.
I want to welcome Zoe Sameth. Are you from California, Zoe?
I am. I'm from California, as I believe Nell is too. Is that right, Nell? We come from these here same parts, though she's not here now. Yes, I found you because of the pandemic, right? So that was a silver lining. And Michael and Nell, I'm so glad that you played a song that isn't up online yet, because I've listened to some of your music since then, so I've become a fan. And I love you're dealing with some really dire, deep, extremely important issues and feelings here, and then it just has that up fun, the faith brings it through. And I also love the performative way that you two are together, like Nell when you first came on. So yeah, great pleasure. Thank you. It actually reminds me, it's a song I recommend to you all. You reminded me in this time of a couple. I've only seen one of their things. It's called the Keep Going song. Some of you have probably seen that. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. So just look it up, Keep Going song. So yeah, this is my second time here. And should I just jump in, Ben?
Jump in, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually I just changed my strings, so I gotta make sure I'm still in tune here. It's going out of tune that quickly, but it stayed. So this is my second time here, and the song I'm gonna sing, Ben, your introduction was great for that one too. It's called The Listening. It was initially in my mind called The Reckoning until it became clear that it was called The Listening. And it's where the personal meets the universal. I initially wrote it as an interpersonal song as a relationship was ending. And as I started playing Who's Great America out, which is this song and video I shared last week, I realized it was a companion song to that and to the division and to, what we need right now. So I'll just go right into it. This is our reckoning. Have we wrecked everything? Or can we find a new beginning? It's the turning time into the listening. It's the only place we can abide, the only way we can survive, turning towards what we each have been yearning for. Listen, listen deep into my eyes, into your side, into the lies, into the dark, and listen to the love in our hearts. This will take time, my loves, this turning time, turning towards our parts in this dance divine. Falling into the great divide, cracked so wide we can't deny. Just hope the light shines through at last on this broken path. Listen, listen deep into your eyes, into my side, into the lies, into the dark, and listen to the love in our hearts. Listen to the love in our heart. Listen.
Bravo, Zoe. Thank you so much. I wanna bring on Joel Landy, who will be performing next after he shares a word with you.
It's so good to have you here. So you are the proverbial silver lining in the dark cloud, bringing us new members who we can enjoy and invite back once again. You talked about the personal verse and the universal. I think you squared it, and it's a mesmerizing song. I couldn't take myself away from it. It's so personal and so universal at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. Yeah, I only had to change one word from both have been yearning for to each have been yearning for and add an S to love, and it was identical otherwise.
Well, I'm glad you made it about listening, because that's what's missing so often. You know,
Yeah, thank
the
you, Joel.
answers are there. We just have to listen more. Well, there's a movie playing behind me, if you can see it. It's called Earth versus the Flying Saucers. Maybe you were a fan of this genre of motion picture growing up. To let you know what's happening here, you have these beings from another place, and they're coming from out of town to Washington, D.C. to cause untold mayhem and destruction. Now, we know this is science fiction because this never happens, unless it's January 6th. Must be January 6th. And then we have Marjorie Taylor Greene with the grin on her face, conspiracy theories, Jewish lasers from space, people eating babies, staging murders at a school, insurrectionists in Washington are breaking glass and rules, grifters and gaslighters and all their willing pawns. It's the state of our democracy. There's stupid going on. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid going on, yeah. It's stupid. Stupid, stupid going on. There's so much stupid going on. Well, Marjorie's in the House with no committee seat. But when stupid is elected, there won't be a retreat. No, Trump is still the president. That's what supporters said. And Pelosi is deserving of a bullet to the head. Get rid of Democrats until they all are gone. Oh, this is what I want to hear when stupid's going on. It's stupid. It's stupid. Stupid's going on. Yeah, yeah, it's stupid. So stupid. Stupid going on. I said there's stupid going on. So forget about the riot. It is time to get along. You can't indict a former president for doing wrong. Inciting a riot doesn't have to be a crime. So send your money to his club when you spend time online. The media is guilty. Put your trust in QAnon. Everything is possible when stupid's going on. It's stupid. It's so stupid. Stupid's going on. It's stupid. Oh, stupid. Stupid's going on. I said that there's stupid going on. Now, if you don't like what you see, you got to draw a line. Criminals belong in jail. They should be doing time. Spreaders of the big lie should be held to account. And those who don't condemn it, well, they should be voted out. And if you think that worse can't happen here, dismiss it with a yawn and celebrate with fear and hate and stupid going on. It's stupid. It's stupid. Stupid. Stupid going on. Yeah, yeah, it's stupid. Stupid. Stupid's going on. There's so much stupid going on. There's too much stupid going on. I gotta leave the room. There's too much stupid going on. Some folks have to leave their party because there's too much stupid going on. Stupid going on.
Bravo, Joel Landy. Thank you very much.
Time to get back in the spacecraft.
I'll bring on Derek here. Derek, go ahead.
Joel, oh my goodness, what a tune that was. You know, in a time when everything seems so dire and so scary, it's nice to have some things to laugh at sometimes. I think that's very helpful.
Well, thank you for saying so.
And such a catchy tune as well. And if I could get in that spaceship with you, I would really like to. Very cool, man. I'm going to play a song that I suppose everybody knows, as Michael and Nell had mentioned, a Woody Guthrie tune called Do Re Mi. And I think maybe as Alice had mentioned in the chat, New York City, I live in New York City, I found it's quite expensive, unfortunately so. And so I switched up Do Re Mi a little bit, and hope you like it. Lots of young folks, well, they say he's leaving home every day, beating that lame old, same old way to the New York City line. Across the interstates they roll, getting out of that Midwest bowl. Think they're going to a sugar bowl, but here is what they find. 'Cause the landlord's over email, well, they say your number 1400,000 for today. Oh, if you ain't got the do re mi, folks, if you ain't got the do re mi, why, you better go back to beautiful Vermont, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. 'Cause New York City is a garden of Eden, a paradise to live in or to see. But believe it or not, you won't find it so hot if you ain't got that do re mi. Wanna rent a studio? Well, that'll cost $2,000 or more. Maybe you could live with 9 or 10 roommates. So don't swap your old car for a bus. You better stay right where you was. Better take this little tip from me. 'Cause I look at Zillow every goddamn day. But the postings and the listings always say, oh, if you ain't got the do-re-mi, folks, you ain't got that do-re-mi, why, you better go back to beautiful Vermont, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. 'Cause New York City is a garden of Eden, a paradise to live in or to see. But believe it or not, you won't find it so hot if you ain't got that do-re-mi. Thank you, everybody.
Bravo. Bravo, Derek Caltro. Welcome back. I want to bring on Christy. Christy Grecsek.
Hello, Derek. That was such a wonderful update. I was torn between really appreciating the changes that you'd made to the lyrics and also being sad about how a Depression era song is still so relevant. Now, we would hope that this would not be someday become an obsolete song. It is not yet, but thank you for bringing your twist to it. It was really effective.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for bringing your twist to it. And my name is Christy Grecsek, and I live in the Connecticut River Valley in Massachusetts, one of the states in your song.
We're getting a little echo there, Christy.
I don't think it's me.
Somewhere.
And we've been hearing it the entire night. I don't think me.
So if you have the live stream running, that will make that happen. But that's so if you have
the Ben, Gene is not muted.
Thank you.
Gene is not muted.
Gene is not muted.
Really?
Yeah, we've been hearing an echo through the entire program.
Oh, I'm very sorry about that. Let's make sure we address that here. So I'm going to try muting you there for a second. So that made it go away when I muted you there, Christy. But go ahead and unmute yourself again.
See, when you were speaking, I still heard a mute on you.
So go ahead and unmute yourself again.
See, when you were speaking, I still heard a mute on you.
Because that's going to be a little difficult. So if I mute myself and you talk, go ahead, Christy.
Right,
Ben, this is Martha. Everybody's muted but Gene Ahem, as well as Christy. Everybody's muted but Gene Ahem, as well.
It's not coming from Jean's. No, that she's doing fine. Jean is doing fine. It's not coming from Jean's.
When I was testing with my friend the other day, we were testing each other through Zoom, and actually when, I can't remember which direction it was, I think it was his, when original sound was on, we got the echo. We had to turn it off.
So Christy, here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the next performer and come back to you, Christy, because I'm not hearing it when I have you muted. So if that's okay, we'll come back to you, Christy. I want to go to Paul McKenna. Paul McKenna, how are you doing? It's so good to have you here.
Good. Hi, everybody. Okay.
Sorry to put you on the spot, though.
No problem. Okay, this is called As Time Goes By. It's about waiting for the vaccine. Okay, and of course it's to the tune of the song from Casablanca that we all know and love. We've got a vaccine now, hoping that somehow we'll manage to survive and hang on till our turn arrives as time goes by. But as the virus spreads, we live in fear and dread, just trying not to cry. How many more of us will die as time goes by? Meantime, COVID continues to kill. Each day the number grows, it's over 500,000. Will vaccines work on new strains? We can only hope they will. It's such a scary time. Trump said they had reserves, then hit us with a curve. Turns out that was a lie. And so the rollout slowly goes as time goes by. Meanwhile, the virus continues to kill. The worldwide death toll now exceeds 2 million. We'll try to be careful and stay virus-free until they tell us it's our time. We'll get one any day, or maybe June or May. If we are still alive, then we can get on with our lives as time goes by. That's it. Thank you.
Bravo, Paul McKenna. And when I do my turn a little bit later, I'm going to sing a song that you wrote, Paul. I want to bring on Jason Baker. Jason.
Yay. And thanks for singing that updated version of that song. You know, it's funny. I never heard, this is a funny story about my dad. So my dad loved jazz, but he hated schmaltzy stuff. So anytime, most of the versions of that song had a lot of schmaltzy strings on it. So he would flip it off when it came on the radio. So I always knew the beginning of that song and never the rest of the song until finally I was old enough to go and watch Casablanca and then go back and learn the song and all that and do it. But I loved your version of it, your update of it. It was really great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Paul. So I'm going to do a song from my album, The Lighthouse, which after I wrote some pandemic-inspired stuff, I shopped it around to some songwriters to say, how's this look for my album? This is stuff written last year during the pandemic. And one of them said, this is great. Are you going to write any positive material for your album? So I thought about that, and I thought, yeah, let's do that. So this is a hopeful song called A Little Further Down the Road. No one knows what comes next. What comes next is anyone's guess. Guessing is uncertain, can't look behind the curtain. Answers lie around the bend, although the questions never end. We'll find a sign you can decode. A little further down the road. A little further down the road. Things don't change on their own. Gotta push, that much is known. And if we push together, it all could be much better. Answers lie around the bend, although the questions never end. We can move that heavy load. A little further down the road. A little further down the road. Memories are all we've got. Missing everyone a lot. But nothing lasts forever, and we will be together. Answers lie around the bend, although the questions never end. May we be returned the love we showed. A little further down the road, we will be together a little further down the road. We will be together a little further down the road. We will be together a little further down the road.
Bravo. Bravo. Jason, thank you so much for that
Thank you.
song. Let's get a little further down the road, and we're going to have Christy Grecsek come right back on to help us get a little further down the road.
There, do you have an echo now?
It's all good now, I think.
Excellent. Great. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Jason, thank you. That we can count that as yet another anthem for 2020. So poignant, and just, I think, what's in many of our, if not all of our hearts this past year. So thank you for putting it into words so beautifully.
Thank you.
All right, now that I don't have an echo, my name is Christy Grecsek, and again, I live in the Connecticut River Valley in Massachusetts. And this is my first time here, so thank you. What a lovely group of people. And I'm going to share a song that came to me probably about 2 years ago when I was thinking about my grandfather, who was, he was a sharecropper actually when he was a young boy in Eastern Pennsylvania. And one of my dear, dear friends is also a farmer in Eastern Pennsylvania. And this song came together to honor both of them, and also all of the farmers who do such important work for all of us. Let me just get a note here. I don't have it arranged on anything, so we are doing it a cappella this evening. My grandpa grew up on this farm so many years ago. That oak tree knew him when he was a boy, swinging through bright fields of hay and hoeing rows of beans all day, harvesting the sorrow and the joy in the fields of jade and malachite. The beats like garnets in the light, the gift of sun and rains, the waves of amber grains, the ruby berries in the morn, the silver tassels on the golden corn. So tell me, why was it so hard to make a living when all he could see were acres of riches from the earth? He said, our pockets, they were empty, but our plates were always full. We sure were poor, although we didn't know it. We saw the bounty all around. We'd plant a seed in this good ground, and God and Dad and Mama, they could grow it in the fields of jade and malachite. The beats like garnets in the light, the gift of sun and rains, the waves of amber grains, the ruby berries in the morn, the silver tassels on the golden corn. So tell me, why was it so hard to make a living when all they could see were acres of riches from the earth? And now I'm plowing furrows in the fields he plowed before. I'm rich in seeds, I banked another year. But just as in my grandpa's day, the wealth I have is not in pay. I wish the world would recognize the treasure growing here in the fields of jade and malachite, the beats like garnets in the light, the gift of sun and rains, the waves of amber grains, the ruby berries in the morn, the silver tassels on the golden corn. So tell me, why is it so hard to make a living when all I can see are acres of riches from the earth. When all I can see are acres of riches from the earth. Thank you.
Bravo, Christy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ben.
Acres of riches from the earth. Well, I like that because you get geez, it's a powerful image, the wealth that is produced from the natural wealth of the land, but it doesn't translate to the way, the capitalist economy works. It's that's a powerful image. I want to see if we can bring on Rick Ward. Rick, are you ready, or would you like to go to the next person? Because I'm Bittersweet was on the list, but I'm not seeing Bittersweet here unless I'm missed her. So, Rick, speak up if you are ready. And if not, I'd like to go to Alan Short and Alison Kelly. And some of you need a little bit of time to get all set up here. So go ahead and unmute yourself if you are Rick or Alison or Alan. Let's see. We're trying to stick to this schedule, but it doesn't always work that way. Alan, are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready if you don't have Rick.
Beautiful. Let's come back to Rick. We're going to go to Alison Kelly and Alan Short. Feel free to say a word to our friend Christy if you can before you get started.
Sure, Christy. Thank you so much, Alan. You got to tilt the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't see your guys' faces.
We were sitting, now we're standing.
That's too much.
That's too much.
That's too much. Okay, less, and there we have it. Perfect. Great.
That was absolutely beautiful song. It's very poignant, and I'm a city girl, but we are hiding from the pandemic on an old farm, and I've learned how to garden and grow my own vegetables, and the meaning and the message in your song was so amazing, because people really take the food that we have for granted and don't value it, and the amount of energy and work that goes into producing things so that we can survive, and people value trivial things. So that was really profound and gorgeous, so thank you.
Thank you.
It was a lovely song, and it was very, very nice to listen to it. Thank you.
And if you wonder who are watching us, this is a plastic vinyl. Alan and I are singing together but not quarantined together, so we've developed a method where we can sing harmony safely.
Shall we start?
Sure.
Oh, I remember the hand so white and fine, that touched the finest linen, that poured the finest wine. Who will remember the gentle words they spoke, to brand the lives of two good men a nuisance or a joke? And all who know these two good arms know I never had to rob or kill. I can live by my own two hands and live well. And all my life I have struggled to rid the earth of all such crimes. Who will remember Judge Webster there, one hand on the gavel, the other resting on the chair? Who will remember the hateful words he said, speaking to the living in the language of the dead? And all who know these two good arms know I never had to rob or kill. I can live by my own two hands and live well. and all my life I have struggled to rid the earth of all such crimes. Who will remember the hand upon the switch that took the lives of two good men in the service of the rich? Who will remember the one that gave the nod, or the chaplain standing near at hand to invoke the name of God? And all who know these two good arms know I never had to rob or kill. I can live by my own two hands and live well. And all my life I have struggled to rid the earth of all such crimes. We will remember this good shoemaker. We will remember this poor fish peddler. We will remember all the strong arms and hands that never once found justice in the hands that rule this land. And all who knew these two good men knew they never had to rob or kill. Each had lived by his own two hands and lived well. And all their lives they had struggled to rid the earth of all such crimes. And all our lives we must struggle to rid the earth of all such crimes.
Bravo. Alan Short and Alison Kelly. Thank you. You know, and I had actually two questions for you guys. So one was about the song and the other was about you. Tell us, we had some people asking who wrote the song.
That was Charlie King.
And maybe
I learned it. I just taught it to Alan a couple days ago when he was invited to do this. I first heard the song and learned it in 1982 or 3 when I was in NYPIRG, the New York Public Interest Research Group, and we did a workshop called Organizing with Songs. And we did songs of struggle, songs that were very much in this vein. So this was Alan's introduction to it.
Well, thank you.
Yes. And this is your first time at a PMN event. Is that right?
It is. Although I know Joel and Steve Suffett, and but it's our first time at one of these events. So thank you so much.
Glad to have you. And Alison, you're a member of the Johnson sisters, is it?
The Johnson Girls and
Johnson Girls and
the New York Packet. Yes.
Beautiful music, and thank you, Alan, and thank you, Alison, for that
so
song. Let's see here. I'm going to see if I can bring Rick Ward. You are next. Can you come on stage and extend a word of love to our friends Alan and Alison?
You bet. Is the microphone working? Can you hear me?
I reckon, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. You guys, that was wonderful. That was an honest to God, true blue, dyed in the wool folk song that was just uplifting, straight from the heart. And when it comes from that place, it goes right to that place. Thank you so much for coming and sharing that with us. That was wonderful. I'd like to do an offering, which is kind of an Irish tune in honor of St. Patrick's Day, which, to my mind, it shouldn't really be celebrated until it's really spring and the snow finally melted up here in New York. So just for fun, I put this together, and it goes like this here. Just the other day, I can't hear anything through these headphones. Just the other day, I got to wondering, why have we never heard about Annie the Wiser? And I realized, well, it's probably because nobody's Annie the Wiser. Then I say, well, somebody must have thought of that. So I looked it up online, and sure enough, on Facebook, I'm not making this up, there's someone called Annie Wiser. and there's no information, no nothing, no pictures, and not even a spot of information. And I just thought, well, as Croc McGarrity often said, well, it just goes to show you. I don't know what, but it does. At any rate, I know. I've got a song for you today which honors Christmas and Palm Sunday and Easter Sunday and St. Patrick's Day all at the same time. A perfect song for today. And it's a true story. Except for some of the more particular details. But, all right, you ready? Everyone knows we've got the 12 days of Christmas. But how many days of St. Patrick are we allowed to have? Well, the first two people I asked that question said the same thing. 365. And the first time I play the song in public, I'll be able to say, we're on the 12th day of Patrick now. Let's say we have some Irish music. I tell you what, I was painting a house the day before yesterday, 10 years ago, and a friend of mine called me up and said, how you doing? I said, just fine. Well, I was singing at the top of my lungs, having a good old time. As I'm painting away, I got an idea for a song. Have you got a minute? Would you like to hear it? She said, sure. And I began to sing. On the first day of Patrick's, my good friend gave to me a pint of Guinness for me. On the second day of Patrick's, my good friend gave to me 3 boxed lunches and a pint of Guinness for me. On the third day of Patrick's, my good friend gave to me 3 boxed lunches, 2 shots of whiskey, and a pint of Guinness for me. On the fourth day of Patrick's, my good friend gave to me 4 calling cards, 3 boxed lunches, 2 shots of whiskey, and a pint of Guinness for. You'll notice I didn't say for free. On the 5th day of Patrick's, my good friend gave to me 5 onion rings, 4 calling cards, 3 boxed lunches, 2 shots of whiskey, and a pint of Guinness for me. On the 6th day of Patrick's, my good friend gave to me 6 tons of codfish, 5 onion rings, 4 calling cards, 3 boxed lunches, 2 shots of whiskey, and a pint of Guinness for me. Now hold on a second, how many have we got so far? Let's see, we've got the 6 days of Patrick. That means so we got 6 pints of Guinness, starting to add up, right? 10 shots of whiskey, we're running up a tab now. We're looking at 12 boxed lunches so far, 12 calling cards. Help me out, what have we got? 10 onion rings, 6 tons of codfish. I have a big family. On the 7th day of Patrick's, my good friend gave to me a bill for the other 6 days. Well, he's the bartender, what do you want? Who else is going to hand you all that stuff? And how are you going to pay that bill? Well, I have a theory. That's why they brought it back to just 1 day of Patrick. That's all the average Irishman would like to afford. Just get me 3 pints of Guinness, 2 shots of whiskey, maybe 3, half a pound of codfish, and you can save the other, let's see, 1,999.5 pounds for another day. Half a pound, that's all you need for 1 day. That's 1 loaf of bread, maybe a leaf on a plate, that's all I ask. Someone to share it with, and that's plenty fine enough for me. And a cup of tea, 1 day of St. Patrick, that'll get the job done, and I'm happy enough. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and I'm back to work again, with a song in my heart, that's all you need, and a pint of Guinness for me.
Bravo.
Right?
Rick Ward, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I'll bring on our next performer, Louise. Louise, it's all you.
Oh my, what an honor. So that was a hoot, as they say. That was good. Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you. We need some levity, don't we?
Yeah, right?
We really need some levity in this time and place. So for tonight, I dredged up a song that I have rarely performed. I wrote it 25 years ago. So it's another one of those Save the Earth type songs that I like to write. It's called Canaries in the Mine. And as I went over the words, I realized that the environmental situation is a lot worse than my words from 25 years ago. So you can just listen to the words, but realize that was 25 years ago, and we were trying to clean up the pollution then, and we're still trying now. We just have a little less time. So my chorus is there's still time, but in another 10 years, I don't know about that. So let's try to do it in the next 10 years if we can. So Canaries in the Mine. Woke up in the morning singing a tune, looked into a marble and saw the moon, played outside in the afternoon when I was a child. Walked to school not far away, recess we went out to play, had more fun than I can say when I was a child. Canaries in the mine, keep on singing, there's still time. Met a man from LA, he had this to say: the air is unhealthy on a school day, recess is inside. Polluted air, it can be cruel, more kids bring inhalers to school. Pollution teaches a dirty rule, there's no place to hide. Canaries in the mine, keep on singing, there's still time. Playing in the sun just isn't the same. Those burning rays, what a shame. The ozone layer is to blame. Better play inside. The beaches are dirty, it's pretty grim. Stepping on needles when you want to swim. The ocean gets poisoned, then no one will win. It's time to change the tide. Canaries in the mine, keep on singing, there's still time, still time, still time. Abandoning the golden rule, bringing knives and guns to school. Violence in the street is even more cruel. The children stay inside. Child molesters try to prey on innocent children every day. Kidnappers want to take them away. Children have to hide. Canaries in the mine, keep on singing, there's still time, still time, still time. Woke up in the morning singing a tune, looked into a marble and saw the moon, played outside in the afternoon when I was a child. Walked to school not far away. At recess we went out to play. Had more fun than I can say when I was a child. Thank you.
Thank you, Louise. I want to bring on Alice Sutter, will be our next performer. Go ahead, Alice. Go ahead and unmute.
Oops.
There you go.
Okay, hi everyone. Okay, let me get my granny hat on. So, if my cat will let me, she's been harassing me all through this. Okay, there we go.
And Alice, feel free to share a word with Louise.
Oh, Louise, that was so beautiful and haunting and relevant. And our earth has been incredibly forgiving to us. But oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, that's very powerful. I love the melody and I love the message. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to bring a song that I played during the last horrible 4 years. They're slightly more encouraging now. This is one of our Raging Granny songs that I've kind of used for all purpose. It goes to "Oh Mary, Don't You Weep." Oh, Ben, could you put on the words? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, I can do that. It'll take me a little second, but I'll do it.
Thank you. Yeah, so I thought that this could be kind of a template for a lot of different songs because I wrote it to "Oh Sister, You're Strong." And I also used it for the grannies. We sang, "Oh Granny, You're Strong," when a bunch of grannies went to the border during the separation, the first separation of the children, and they tried to go to the border and bring gifts to the children. They weren't entirely successful, but it was very inspiring. So I did an "Oh Granny, You're Strong" version. And I also did an "Okinawa People, You're Strong" version to the people in Okinawa who are protesting as their beautiful coral reef gets destroyed as we continue to build horrible bases. So I sang that to some of our friends who were doing work on Okinawa. So I figured it's kind of an all-purpose song. So this is "Oh Sister, You're Strong" to some of our wonderful sisters. Should I start or wait for the thing? Okay, there we go. And please feel free to sing along with us. Okay. Tarana Burke created Me Too. Women spoke out and a movement grew. Women are rising for justice. Oh, sister, you're strong. Erica and Iola said the dream that can't fail. Protested, arrested, hunger strike in jail. Women are rising for justice. Oh, sister, you're strong. Black Lives Matter cried Alicia Garza. Brought a liberation movement to America. Women are rising for justice. Oh, sister, you're strong. Linda Sarsour, our Women's March co-chair. Stop abuse of Muslim people everywhere. Women are rising for justice. Oh, sister, you're strong. No to immigrant abuse, said Teresa Okuma. Up the Statue of Liberty, she did go. Women are rising for justice. Oh, sister, you're strong. Oh, sister, you're strong. Oh, sister, you're strong. Women are rising for justice. Oh, sister, you're strong. Okay. That's it.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo. Thank you very much, Alice. I want to bring on our next performer, Mary McCaffrey. If you're ready, Mary. Oh, Mary's not there. So, all right. Well, we'll bring her back if we can get her. Rains Rauner, are you ready? Hey, Rains.
Hi there.
Unmute yourself. Yeah.
I can be. Yes.
Welcome.
Alice, love the Raging Grannies and love the message. Love your naming of strong women.
We try.
In that song, yes. Fair forward.
Yes.
To all of them. I actually have a song about a strong woman too. I've mentioned here on PMN that I'm an activist for Palestinian equal rights and was a volunteer in 2002 and 2003 with the International Solidarity Movement, which is Palestinian-led nonviolent resistance to the Israeli occupation. And the volunteers are internationals and also Israeli peace activists whose presence with Palestinians they are serving essentially as human shields to protect Palestinians from the violence of settlers, for instance, in the olive harvest, who will come and throw stones at the Palestinians while they're picking their olives and assault them, and Palestinians have been killed as well. And the settlers come down and then steal the olives. Children walking to school are also often assaulted by settlers, and the presence of international services protection. And international solidarity movements activists also live with Palestinians in homes that are due to be demolished by the Israeli military. And I served in Palestine from early October to late December in 2002, and then from mid-April to mid-July in 2003. And between those two trips, it was in mid-March of 2003 that the whole solidarity movement, we heard of the death of Rachel Corrie, who was an American activist with the International Solidarity Movement, as I was. She was in Gaza, and she was protecting a Palestinian home that was about to be demolished, and she was standing with a fluorescent orange jacket and with a bullhorn speaking to the driver of an Israeli military bulldozer that was approaching the home. And she was pleading with him to stop his advance and expressing her determination to protect the home and to not move. And the driver of the bulldozer paid no heed to her appeals and continued to advance. And in an act of just tremendous courage, Rachel stood her ground and was crushed to death by the bulldozer. And the Israeli government has still not taken responsibility for her death. And when we heard of this, us solidarity activists in Boston gathered in Harvard Square and lit candles and walked down to the Charles River and then put these candles on little paper boats which we floated out on the water. And so with all these flickering lights in the darkness going out onto the water. And so this song is called Shine a Light. It's a tribute to Rachel Corrie. And I've mentioned before that when I was an activist with the International Solidarity Movement, I was also a field coordinator for Rabbis for Human Rights. And so we can think of this song as not only a tribute to Rachel, but to all of the solidarity activists who stand in support of justice for Palestinians. And this is an urgent issue. Israel is turning more and more to the right. They just had an election. It's one of the few countries where the younger generation are more right-wing than their elders. And it's time to, this is a United States problem. We give more foreign aid to Israel than to any other country, and we are funding what is happening there. And it's time for us to condition military aid to Israel until Israel ends its 54-year-old occupation. So this is Shine a Light, and this is adapted from the Rolling Stones. I saw you stretched out, a noble shaheed, with a smile on your face. You never did stop believing in justice and peace for all of mankind, my sweet child of love. Your name, when mentioned, brings strength to those who see. Rachel Corrie took a stand, so why not you and me? With love in our hearts and freedom in mind, my sweet child of love. So may the good Lord shine a light on you, make every song you sing your favorite tune. May the good Lord shine a light on you and keep you warm like the evening sun, yeah. You stood proud and righteous, baby, with your megaphone, staring down the bulldozer to save the family home. Now the children you love keep your dream alive. Freedom now in Palestine. I see angels beating their wings in time, with smiles on their faces and tears in their eyes. I think I hear them calling for you. Come on up now, come on up now, come on up now, come on up, Rachel. May the good Lord shine a light on you, make every song you sing your favorite tune. May the good Lord shine a light on you, keep you warm like the evening sun. May the good Lord shine a light on you, make every song you sing your favorite tune. May the good Lord shine a light on you and keep you warm like the evening sun. Oh, yeah.
Bravo. Thank you so much, Rains, for that important message. I want to bring on our next performer, Hank Stone. Hank, you're not new to PMN, but I think you might be new to the song swaps. And let me see, I want to bring myself back on as well as our previous performer, because I just hit the wrong button. So add spotlight. So Hank, welcome back to People's Music Network, and feel free to share a word with Rain before you tell us some more about yourself.
Range, that was wonderful. A really good repurposing of a song, you know. And it reminded me, I read a novel last year, I guess it was, by Colum McCann called A Paragon. I'll put a link in the thing. And it's based on a true story. There's two fathers who lost their daughters, a Palestinian and an Israeli. And they lost their daughters to the violence. And they've been working together for peace over there. And it's really good, very positive, uplifting kind of a
There's
a novel.
Parents Bereavement Circle.
Oh, yes, they were part of that, right. So I'm sure you were aware, yeah. So thanks again for that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
So, yeah.
And Hank, tell us a little bit about you, since we haven't seen you at a song swap for a little. Where are you from? Like how you know
I'm from
about
Long Island.
Network?
I grew up in Queens, and I'm from Long Island now. I've been living out there for about 30, 40 years, halfway from Manhattan to Montauk Point. And we've got a nice singer-songwriter scene going on there, and been able to play a lot of nice places. But I've been going up to the folk conferences like NERFA, and that's where I ran into Ben a couple years ago. And I sat in on the PMN song circles at late night sessions. And I finally, going a little stir crazy at home all these years, this past year, not being able to get out and play live. So I said, let me find some other opportunities. And I said, the People's Music Network, there's always some good. And I got some songs that'll fit into that. So
great to have you.
Yeah, I appreciate being, I'm really enjoying the evening. So this song actually, after, in the beginning of 2017, after the last administration took over, people were telling me, you're going to write a song about 45, I won't say his name. And I said, I didn't really want to get my hands dirty writing about him. And I wanted to do something more positive. So I thought, what are some of the issues that we face, some of the more important issues? And I guess the plight of refugees around the world, and the way we were turning our back on the immigrants and the refugees, the people that need a new home and a new start. That's how we got here. Our country is built on the work of immigrants. And so I decided to go into myself and put myself in the shoes of the refugees. And I wrote this song, and everybody said, "Oh, you got to record it. You got to record that." So in 2019, we put together a bunch of songwriters, eight singer-songwriters from Long Island, and I gave them each a part of the song, like "We Are the World." Everybody took a verse, and we put the record out. I'll put a link to that in the chat later on. So anyway, here's the song. It's called "This Is My Country." I was not born here, but this is my country. I work with my neighbors. I am a part of the community. I send a little money back to my family. I was not born here, but this is my country. I was not born here, but this is my country. I love the Constitution. I used to dream about democracy. My children were born here. We're an American family. I was not born here, but this is my country. This is my country, just as sure as it is yours. It's a land of bridges and opening doors. This is my country. I heard the lady in the harbor call, proclaiming liberty and justice for all. I was not born here, but this is my country. And there are givers and takers in every society. But I pay taxes and Social Security. I was not born here, but this is my country. I was not born here, but this is my country. Ask me and I will tell you about my flight from tyranny. I lost my home, I kept my humanity. I was not born here, but this is my country. This is my country, just as sure as it is yours. It's a land of bridges and opening doors. This is my country. I heard the lady in the harbor call, proclaiming liberty and justice for all. I was not born here, but this is my country. And every family knows its history. And I think I heard your great-grandfather telling me I was not born here, but this is my country. And as I take my oath, nobody will disagree. I was not born here, but this is my country.
Bravo, Hank Stone, moving song. Thank you so much. I want to bring on our next performer. We got Roger Street Friedman in the house. He's going to give a little introduction of a recorded video, which I'll be ready to play by the time you exchanged a word with
Hey everybody. Hey Hank, that's a wonderful tune.
Thank you.
Very, very moving.
Thank you.
And great guitar work. I love the little interlude up there.
That's
yeah. Right. It's sort of it's easy for people to forget that this is a country of where everyone came from somewhere else. Even the native people came from somewhere else, and migration has been happening forever. And we're all the same. There's really no, it's crazy what happens with walls as opposed to bridges and doors. So thank you for that. So I guess I'm going to introduce. I was moved back last year when we witnessed the, George Floyd being killed on television. I like most of the country and most of the world was incredibly upset, and I was moved to write a song about it, and it became not just a song about the killing of George Floyd, but a song about our whole entire history of racism in this country. And one of the things I learned how to do I spent some time over the pandemic learning how to edit video, and so using a bunch of images and video that I found online, I put together a video for this song, which just tries to tell a little bit of the history of, even if we don't think that there, some of these instances where people are getting killed are not caused by racism specifically, that the racism is endemic and is what leads to these events. So, and the song is called Poison in the Cut. So I hope you enjoy it.
Shakes and shivers down to the bones that built this land. We bear witness and cannot forgive. We've seen all that we can stand, and the streets grow hot and restless, like a body with a chill. When the infection that festers beneath the skin will no longer be still. Some try to blame the victim, but the case is open and shut. Some thought it all healed over, but there is poison in the cut. There is poison in the cut. From the bullwhip scars to the lynch mobs, black dreams torn, broken and wrecked. For April 4th, 1968, for every knee upon a neck, we are marching in our sorrow. We are marching in our rage. We are marching toward tomorrow and the turning of the page. You can no longer blame the victim. Once opened eyes can't be shut. Some say it's all healed over, but there is poison in the cut. There is poison in the cut. Until the original light is exposed to the light, this fever will not break. Nobody's free until everybody is free. For the spark that starts the fire, for all that is righteous and just, we march to shine a light. stand to shine a light on it and drain the poison from the cut. Drain the poison from the cut.
Bravo. Thank you, Roger. So I don't know, say another word or two, like how you heard about People's Music Network, how you were driven to write this song.
Well, I heard about People's Music Net. I actually met you guys up at NERFA. It was probably 3 or 4 years ago. So I've been on the mailing list and always thought it was cool. And it was, excuse me, I'm getting over some laryngitis. And then I love the idea of this song swap. And then the song really came about after George Floyd's killing. I went and did sort of a deep dive on the history of racism in the country and all the stuff that I didn't learn as a middle class white kid growing up in the suburbs, and all the history that I was not taught. I started learning about what happened. We were taught like Lincoln freed the slaves. We had this horrible thing. We fought the Civil War. Lincoln freed the slaves, and everything was hunky dory. After that. And then, except of course for the civil rights movement and all that. But there's this whole period right after Reconstruction where the troops got pulled out of the South, and the whole Jim Crow thing that I really like. I mean, it's just incredible to learn what happened and how there was really a reign of terror against a whole entire race of people down there. Which led to this mass exodus up to the north. These people who had all of this skill, farming, and they were craftsmen and craftspeople, and basically had to flee. And
it's not like the conclusion of the Civil War involved the imposition of some kind of racial democracy on the South. It was like
right.
It was like the victors in the war made peace on the terms of sort of reinstituting a new version of slavery in that social structure.
Exactly. And then the whole, the prison farm system and all of that stuff that was just designed to keep slave labor, which was, anyway, so it kind of made my head explode a little bit. And, it's hard to tell that whole story in 4 minutes.
That's the challenge as a songwriter.
Yeah. So I tried to do broad strokes and talk about the protests that were going on in the first verse, and then and I really like the image of there's everybody thinks it's healed, it's all healed or healing, but there's still this poison of racism in this country, and it runs pretty deep. And then the second verse was more about the history, and I thought the video was a really good way to try and get my point across.
Very cool. Well, a lot of people learning some new skills to get their message across through music. So maybe that'll be a workshop at the next gathering. I want to invite our next performer, and I just want to apologize actually to Pine Tree because I got my list messed up here. So I want to see if Pine Tree would like to say a word perhaps to Roger and then introduce herself.
We hear you now.
I'm muted, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Roger, that was an amazing video.
I thought it was my turn to say.
Unfortunately, I recognized most of the faces of the Black people, and it was, I'm sad. It's just, I'm trying to shake it, but it was very powerful and very beautiful. Okay, I think it really packs a punch.
Thank you very much.
And much research in that in putting that video together. That was a lot of images. That was a lot of work. I can see that.
Yeah,
So well
it.
done.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
So I wrote a story about Kokopelli, and it is not a traditional story. And the reason that I wrote it is that I wanted to have a story for my elementary school students about Kokopelli. And when I researched it, I found that they were all about impregnating the women of the tribe. That's what he did. He was a fertility god and mythical character, and that's the main thing that he did. So I didn't really want to go there. So I wrote something on the idea of fertility, but
Pine Tree,
not
sorry
quite.
to interrupt, but did you want to actually have your? Oh, there we go. Okay, we lost the spotlight because now you're back on. Good. Go ahead.
All right. Did you hear me?
Yeah, we just lost the video on
Did
you,
you hear what I
so but we got you now. So tell us again about the song.
Right. Okay, it's a story, and I wrote it because I wanted to introduce my elementary school students to Kokopelli. And all the stories that I researched were about Kokopelli impregnating the women of the tribe. And I didn't really want to go there, so I wrote something along the lines of fertility that was not quite so graphic. And it's called Kokopelli Brings the Spring. The melody is actually a Hopi melody, the Hopi corn planting song. Kokopelli brings the spring. Once there was a young girl of the Hopi tribe who lived with her family in Arizona. And when spring came, the girl would join her elders in planting corn, beans, and squash. In summer, she would help harvest the corn and beans and then set a portion out to dry in the sun. The dried seeds would be food for the coming winter. But this was a long winter. January, snow. February, snow. March, more snow. By now, all the food the people had stored was gone. Now the elders would tell stories about an ancient being called Kokopelli who played the flute and had wild hair. The girl had seen his image carved into the rocks nearby. On his back he carried a pack, and inside the pack were beautiful gifts. Sometimes he would bring seeds of corn. They said that if you danced and drummed and called his name, he might come, playing the flute and bringing gifts. That night, the girl went to bed hungry. She prayed, "Oh, please, Kokopelli, please come to my village, bring the corn. I am so hungry, and my brother is hungry." In her dreams, she thought she heard a sound far away. She woke up her brother. "He's coming, Kokopelli is coming. I heard his flute." Her brother said, "Oh, go back to sleep. You're just dreaming." But the little girl strapped bells on her legs and began dancing and leaping. Her brother got up and began drumming. The sound of the flute came closer and closer. Kokopelli came to the village. He reached into his back and threw a handful of corn into the snow. And every place that a kernel fell, the snow melted, and a little corn plant began to grow and grow and grow. The children ran to the door and they Oh, thank you, Cocapelli. Thank you for coming, for bringing the corn, for bringing the spring. But Cocapelli did not hear them. He was already on his way to the next village, bringing the corn, bringing the spring.
Bravo. Thank you, Pine Tree. Thank you so much. I'm going to bring on our next performer, Mary McCaffrey. And thank you all for your patience with the order here. So go ahead and unmute Mary, and feel free to share a word with Pine Tree and her story.
Am I unmuted, Ben?
Oh, we hear you good.
Okay, good. Oh, well, Pine Tree, that was wonderful. I really enjoyed hearing the flute, which is, I know, part of the basic, I don't know, persona of the Cocapelli. And it gives our collection of works here tonight a different dimension. It brings in the native communities, and it was great. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay. All right. I am doing something I'm calling a freedom and justice medley. Gonna do kind of clips out of 4 songs because I couldn't do the whole 4 songs. That would be too much. So here I go. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Until the killing of black men, black mothers' sons is as important as the killing of white men, white mothers' sons. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind it was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind it was stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Gotta walk, you gotta walk, you gotta walk with your mind on freedom. Walk, you gotta walk, you gotta walk with your mind on freedom. Oh, walk. Yeah, here we go. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. No more killings, no more killings, no more killings over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. No more fear, no more fear, no more fear over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free.
Bravo, Mary McCaffrey. Thank you very much for sharing those songs.
You're welcome. I hope I did get them all in the 5 minutes.
Well, you know, I guess I'll be the next performer here. So I just wanted to say, by way of listening to that, you know, one of the things I hear in that rendition of those songs is actually just how powerful and meaningful those songs are to so many people, and how, if we think about that as a historical process, you know, how those songs seep into people's bones, and how movements grow by being able to harness that capacity of human beings to like hold those songs in them, you know, as a spiritual mooring, like a foundation to be built upon. So thank you for sharing those, Mary. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Ben.
Beautiful. Well, so friends, I want to sing you a little song, and you know, I will just say by way of introduction. So I serve as the executive director of the People's Music Network. We've been a nonprofit, you know, officially speaking, since about the 1990s, and our roots go back to the late 70s. We were very active in the 80s as kind of an informal network, and I guess so. I've been serving in this role since 2013, and you know, even before I came into this role, when I was just a regular active member, one of the things I appreciated about what we do at People's Music Network is we give a space to each other to experiment a little bit, to experiment possibly beyond even our comfort zones. And what I want to do today is something that's a little bit beyond my comfort zone. Paul McKenna, can I bring you up real quick to just recognize you for a second? So I'm going to do a song that was written here by Paul McKenna, and he actually spoke or sang earlier. And Paul, you wrote this song to a John Philip Sousa melody, I believe the year I was born, 1981. Can you just
actually the year before you were born.
1980. Okay, before I was born, that you took this wonderful melody and wrote some great lyrics to it. Not a melody that people usually sing. Am I right?
Yeah, that's true.
The Stars and Stripes.
I wrote just on a lark, and as I was writing, I was saying, "This is ridiculous. Nobody will ever sing this song." As it turned out, it's been sung probably more than any other song I've written, or as much anyway.
It's a masterpiece. I think hospital workers out on strike for better pay is the way you originally wrote it, right?
Hospital workers on strike for better pay. That was the opening line of that was the first line I wrote, and it was the opening line.
Yes.
I'd actually had a song sheet that some nurses had written that just had the ending, and I sort of said, well, why not do the whole thing? That might be fun. So.
Well, now, Paul, you know this, of course, but I've been doing a little bit of singing for nurses and nurses unions since about 2017 or so. And other folks might not know this, but probably about a third of my repertoire that I use when I'm singing with nurses unions was written by Paul McKenna. So it's pretty heavy.
Cool.
I have to do the math, but it's a lot.
Putting them to use.
It's a real pleasure. I mean, Paul is a real lyricist. So he actually had a slightly different first verse in 1980 when he first wrote this. And then I emailed him the other day and I said, so the hospital workers that I'm singing for, actually, because the nurses in Worcester, Massachusetts are on strike right now. They're just going into their 6th week of being on strike. And they are fighting for safe staffing. So they're actually, the wages aren't actually the central issue in the struggle. It's actually the staffing ratios are the central issue. So I said, Paul, great song. I love all of it. It scans so well, but can we change the meaning so it's about the safe staffing issue? Because as people know, our hospitals in this for-profit healthcare system are disastrously understaffed, particularly by one of the most important groups of staff people in a hospital. That is the frontline nurses who are doing that, bedside patient care. So these nurses who are on strike right now in Worcester, actually, I was just singing for them on Saturday, and they're members of the Massachusetts Nurses Association. So this is a little difficult for me to sing, but I'll do my best here. Okay. The nurses are striking to keep our patients safe. We're union nurses out on strike, struggling to win some decent staffing, fighting the bosses and the scabs and drinking a lot of caffeine. We're demanding big improvements. We gotta see a change. We gotta see a change. Come join our righteous movement. We gotta see a change now. Oh, we're out here on the picket line, and we're ready to keep on walking and to carry around our picket signs till the management sits down to do some talking. When they hear us singing solidarity forever, yes, the union keeps us strong. We're the voices proudly raising harmony together. Come and join our union song. We shall overcome the opposition of the hospital employers. We shall not be moved by their injunctions or their high-priced corporate lawyers. Our enthusiasm won't diminish. We are in the battle till the finish, till the bosses hear what we are saying, realize that we're not playing. We'll stand out in the heat and the cold and the wind and the rain and the weather. Our union is going to prevail. Stick together and we won't fail. We'll stand hand in hand unified, and we won't let the scabs and bosses bust us. With courage and spirit and pride, we will unite to wage the fight for bread and justice. Hey! All right. So I also have to say, give some credit to Rebel Voices, Janet Stecker and Susan Lewis, who recorded that song quite brilliantly a number of years ago, and I think did a wonderful job with it. So thank you again, Paul, for writing that song. And I think with that, what we'll do is cut the live stream. And for folks who are here on the Zoom, feel free to hang around. We get to exchange a few words with each other, and we'll just do it without the sort of public view on right now. But thanks everybody who joined in, and we have lots more song swaps coming up. If you go to peoplesmusic.org, our next song swap actually is going to be April 23rd. We try to give priority to people who are coming new to the song swap first and get to hear some new voices, and that kind of keeps a good different people each time. We also want to have the same people back, so we're really appreciative of the people who keep signing up. With that, thanks everybody.